Welcome, Year 10. I'm just reporting back to you on our new Phase 0, Phase 1 and Phase 00 of the new teaching and learning policy, which we've been working with for at least the last 2 weeks in school. I've had the opportunity to observe some lessons, walk around the school in different year groups, and there are some changes we need to make. I've also been able to contact teachers and ask them how they feel things have gone, and they have some ideas about what they'd like to change as well. So I'm going to click through this now and let you know what has been happening and how things are different and what changes we may need to make. So first of all, Phase 0 was about how you come in the room. And for years 7, 8 and 9, that has been about a silent bit of reading at the start of the lesson. For you in year 10 up to now, that has been about you using a Chromebook at the start of the lesson, supposedly to be doing some reflective work, some of your own study, maybe GC Pod. But what we are seeing is a blip, lesson changeover times of smooth more alerts, students being on inappropriate sites during that time. And that's becoming quite a heavy drag on the school. And it's certainly not what we would hope will be happening in terms of you doing your revision in those downtimes. So that is something that we will need to change. For Phase 1, the silent do now, that's been really effective. That's made a really big difference to the start of lessons for lots of year 10 lessons. So that we are sticking with just as it is now, but we will be insisting with teachers that that needs to be a silent do now. It's not a chance to discuss with colleagues, not a chance for you to talk about what you did last time or give feedback. It is a silent do now. You're doing it in silence, and it should really be done as a written task. Okay, and the last one is the Phase 00, and that is what happens as a teacher leaves the room. And again, at the present, you should be using your Chromebook to do some research or some learning there. But again, we're seeing a real spike in our data about what's happening that time, and that is when the inappropriate activity with the Chromebook is most frequently occurring. That includes cyberbullying of each other, and it does include some students trying to access inappropriate material. So, the impact across the school is shown here. It's really fortunate I've been able to share this with you. I haven't shared names of people ever, but I have been into 66 different lessons in the last 2 weeks. Mr. Finney's been into I think Mr. Finney's been into 4. Ms. Farmer's been into about 9, and Ms. Stone's been into 2 or 3 or 4. In total, we've been to 81 lessons, and we've been looking at Phase 0, Phase 1 particularly. And we've learned things from those visits. And what we've learned is that in years 7, 8 and 9, the Phase 0 is really effective at getting a good, crisp start to the lesson, and learning is starting really quickly. That has been less so in year 10. When students are on Chromebooks, it seems as though they are less focused. And that has real implications for the learning that then happens for the rest of the lesson. In the other year groups, it's been a calm start to the lesson, and students are able to get on. So changes that will concern year 10. The first one is having your mini whiteboard on the table ready at all times. It's important you have it there so teachers are able to quickly gauge response from every single student. It's no good doing a hands up and one student answering on behalf of the class, because we don't know that everybody understands what has just been taught or is able to respond to the question. So having your mini whiteboard on the table ready at all times will become a new expectation in year 10 lessons. That will also be in other lessons as well, but I'm just talking now about the stuff that concerns year 10. The other change for year 10 is that we will return to doing reading for Phase 0 and Phase 00. So when you come into a room, the first thing you do is sit in silence and read your book. You can do that starting now. So you could do that if you have a reading book in your bag, you could do that now and for the rest of today. If you don't have a reading book in your bag, you can put one in tomorrow and start from tomorrow. For some people, it will take a bit of time to be able to get hold of a book. But you must be reading by Monday the 23rd of November. Now that's the decision we made looking at those results of people walking around. But we also did ask all of our teachers how they felt about the phase 0 in year 10. And the responses are shown here. 28 teachers responded. That's probably most of year 10 teachers, because not every teacher teaches year 10. And 78.6, so nearly 80% of teachers said they would prefer to move to year 10 reading during phase 0 and phase 0. So it's not just me or Mr. Finney, Miss Farm, Miss Stone walking around and making a decision. It's what your teachers think are best for your learning. And that's what's at the heart of this, making sure that the learning in those lessons is as useful and productive as possible. And at the minute, those 4 teachers that have done the walk around, but also the vast majority of other teachers there are saying that in year 10, we need to go to reading because their experience is that it's not as good as elsewhere. Okay. So what action do you need to take? Well, from now on, your mini whiteboard on your desk every single lesson. I need to remind you that it's your responsibility to have a whiteboard pen that works. And from Monday the 23rd of November, you have your reading on your desk every lesson as well. That is our expectation and requirement from you. Okay, what can we do to support that? You've all got your mini whiteboards, but you can purchase a whiteboard pen from school for 20p, or we can go on the online shop and get your parents to purchase one for you, and they're 5 for £1 there. So you might get your parents to go and purchase 5, and you can keep them on your desk at home or somewhere in your bedroom at home, and as they run out or whatever, you've got some spares. We will organise during the coming week for you to have 10 minutes in the library should you need to during registration if you don't have a book, so you can go and get a library book out of the library, something that you would wish to read. But I want to be clear that everybody will be doing this. Okay. Hope that's clear for you. The main purpose of this is about making sure that learning is as effective as it possibly can be at the moment. Hopefully, COVID at some point will be over, and hopefully it will be over whilst you're still in our care at school. When that happens, we will reevaluate this, and it's quite likely we will change what happens at the start of lessons. But for now, within the restrictions we have, this is what we need to do. So, make sure you've got your mini whiteboard out, make sure your mini whiteboard pen works, and make sure you've got a reading book from the 23rd of November onwards. Thank you very much.